Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Airbnb location hunting and prospecting and how to find good properties to do Airbnb with. So one of the most overlooked things, in my opinion, is this tool right here on Airbnb. You can actually go to Airbnb.com and see, based on their data, based on I think what they do is about 15%. Or 15 days worth of the month. That's what the average that you see right here is based on, right? So let's go to a place like San Diego, right? I have a buddy in San Diego that's doing this. So let's take this amount, and now let's go to San Diego. Apartments for rent. So at 4 guests, let's say a 2-bed apartment could hold about 6 guests. Let's go to apartments.com. Perfect. So I'm going to type in San Diego, California. We're going to look for a 2-bed unit. Let me zoom in here. So now in San Diego, you got La Jolla is a nice area right by the water. Let's take something like this, for example. Right, looks like a decent price point. So it looks like a decent unit, right? It's got carpet. It doesn't have a contemporary feel. It's more of a older style apartment, which could work. I mean, obviously with it 1950, it wouldn't be a bad price, especially if Airbnb is predicting you can make this much. That's what, 800 roughly per month that you'd be profiting, more or less. So you take something like that, and it looks very nice. Now let's take something like this, for example. This would be more what I would recommend, is taking more of a modern style, contemporary style. Let's take a look at the inside of this. By the way, what a cool software, isn't it? My buddy actually helped create one of these, and I have to admit, I think they're going to be huge in the future with real estate. I don't know why it took so long to create something like this, to be honest with you. Makes it so much easier to see the inside of a house. But anyhow, so let's take a unit like this, for example. Sorry for the tangent. So we take a unit like $18.90 for a 2-bed, 1-bath, right? So at $18.90 per month, that's actually a pretty good price, by the way. $18.90, that's not bad for San Diego. So you take something like that, and this is an average of what you can get per month. It's just inside of Airbnb under host a home. You can literally go here and you can see this, where they'll give you an insight into an area, right? So again, go to San Diego. That's at 4 guests. That would be like a studio apartment. If you added, something like this. If you added, let's go to photos real quick. It looks real nice. Real contemporary style. Nice appliances, clean. Very nice, right? So something like this could easily get rented for $100 a night. So at $100 a night, 100 times 30 days in a month, that's about $3,000 if you're 100% occupant. Now you have to take the weekends and you have to get it a little bit of a premium. So let's say the weekends would rent out for $150. So now that's 50 times 4 weekends. That's 50 extra times 4 weekends. That's another, let's say another $500 right there, more or less, that you're going to get an inflation for, or a higher premium for the weekend, right? So with something like this, this is a 2-bed, so a 2-bed can easily hold 6 guests. That's roughly $2,700 per month, and that's just based on Airbnb's data of San Diego with 6 guests. So something like this, would be probably a decent unit to rent and use for a rental arbitrage style Airbnb, right? So now let's take this example now, and let's actually find out on Airbnb.com. Let's just take a gander at San Diego and see what it looks like for this month, let's say, right? So let's say, let's do a 1 day. Let's do 6 guests, and let's see what they have. So 44% of places in San Diego for your dates and guests are already booked, right? So it looks like it's a very popular place. Obviously, it's San Diego, beautiful weather year-round. It's probably very sought after in terms of, you know, Airbnbs and short getaways and true short-term rentals for people all over the country, right? So let's take something like these are all houses, right? We can see 115 per night, 119 per night, 114 per night, entire loft. Here's someone doing a rental arbitrage style, right? 7 guests, 1 bedroom, 4 beds, 2 baths. So this person is taking a 1-bedroom unit, right? And here you go. Here's a very contemporary look. Very cute little place. Very nice feng shui, right? Contemporary look. Beautiful weather. Great photos. Clean, minimalistic look, right? Nice shot of palm trees. Nice rooftop deck. Yoga, right? And this is a great example of another photo. They did a great job with this, right? We were able to do private yoga session on the rooftop for 10 people with some room to spare. So a great review, right, for the description for this photo. Just showing people more diversity, more activities, more things that you can do inside of your Airbnb, and then obviously showing them cafes around the corner, different attractions. This is great listing, right? So I would just I would hypothesize that someone like this, if they're not already Superhost, they will be Superhost very quickly, right? I didn't see if they were Superhost. So 197 reviews. So they got a ton of reviews. There you go. 4.8 star. Yep. I'm sure they're a Superhost, right? Yep, there you go, Superhost. So there you go. That's a great example of not only a contemporary style unit, but also, you know, a great display in terms of overall photos, descriptions. Look, features a fully equipped kitchen. The home is bright, modern, clean, and professionally decorated. And furnished, that's a great thing to add. Obviously, if it's not professionally decorated, you don't want to, you know, say something that's false. But if you can figure out a way to attach that word, then obviously that's a great thing to have. So here's a cool look at the inside of the house. Right, bathroom, very clean looking. Bedroom, bathroom, they have 2 bathrooms, master bedroom, outdoor shower, right? Oh, that's real cool, outdoor shower there. So stuff like this, right? Very unique, outdoor shower, very, very cool. Even though it seems like people could look at you from the roof, but anyways. Sleeping nook, rooftop deck, ocean views, there you go. Right, so there you go again, and here you go, the rooftop deck. So for $94 per night, let's take a look at, you know, what their calendar looks like for the month of November. So it's currently November 11th, right? So let's take a look at what their calendar looks like in the month of November so far. So obviously we can't see prior to the date, so all these dates are already blocked out because all these dates already passed. But we can take a look at what their calendar looks like in the future going forward. So it's the 17th here, so it looks like they allow one-night bookings, which I don't personally recommend if you're going to do this. And the reason being is that what happens is that now you get these gaps in your schedule where, you know, you can't schedule multiple nights, which are more profitable for you if you're doing the rental arbitrage. You want people to book up, you know, as much of the month as they can. Like for example, you know, you want someone to book from 8th to the 31st, and obviously, look, you know, if someone does that, then it's an incredible profit, and people do. So, for example, someone that might do that is a family that had an insurance claim and something happened to their home. God forbid, things happen, and c'est la vie. That's life, right? And you might have to leave your home for a month, and the insurance pays for it. So, the insurance tells you, hey, go pick a place, and we'll reimburse you for the expense. So, they come in and they say, hey, we need a place all month. Now, based on something like this, the issue is that now someone that's doing that, if they come to this, they're not gonna be able to book this thing, for a month, because there's these individual one-night bookings, and it blocks or it interrupts the ability to book, multiple nights at one time, because now, those nights aren't available and already accounted for. So, I recommend personally, and I tell, I recommend to people to do some type of limit in terms of how many nights you can stay, at least a 2-night limit, right? 1 or 2 night limit that allows you to get rid of some of those one-night stays, which they're great, if you have gaps in your schedule to do one-night stays, right? If you had everything booked except for the 11th and 12th, then sure, you make that a one-night stay, or try to fill it as such, because that's all you can get. But at the beginning of a month, or as a rule of thumb, you don't want people to come in and book 3 days right in the middle of the month, and then interrupt everything that is possible to take place. If someone booked one night in between here, 26th to 27th, let's say, now all of this time, even though it's already open for this guy, and he could get a month-long booking, now he has someone that's booking between the 26th and 27th, and he's disrupting someone to be able to come in and book all of this. So just take that into consideration. But you can see on Thursday and Friday, right, the 26th through the 27th, because it's a hot peak season, he's getting $300 a night. And obviously you're going to have that, especially in a place like San Diego, because people are coming in from all over the country to book this place because it's warm, right? And they might be in a snowy environment. So let's say 11/17 through 11/18, maybe he can't find someone, so he's lowered the pricing for today. Obviously, I'm shooting this 11/17, so tonight he doesn't have a booking. He's lowered the price to $94 per night, because if you go and look at, say, the 21st through the 22nd, he's got it at $127. So it looks like he's lowered it about $30 for this night, right? So that's actually something to take into consideration too when you're doing research, is to kind of look around and see, what the nightly rate is based on different dates, rather than just looking at face value and not checking around, right? So obviously in January he's charging $371 per night, right? So for a 9-night stay in January, he's making about $4,000. Now if we go back to this and we take something like this, you're paying the rents, you're profiting, you're cash flowing plus $2,000 in 9 days, right? So that's the power of this rental arbitrage, is that, especially when it's in demand, especially when people are seeking warmth, for example, in the winter. It's basic economics and supply and demand 101. You have a nice contemporary unit in downtown San Diego, right by the beach, and it's 72 degrees, and you can charge what you want because people want to come, and they're willing to pay a high premium, to get that temporary pleasure for a week, let's say. And if we go, before Christmas, for example, right? So this is New Year's or Christmas Eve, 12/24. It's $368 per night, right? So here's an example where in 7 days he's making $3,000. Again, he's profiting about $1,000 in that time span for potentially, an $1,800 or a $1,900 unit that he's now, possibly living in part of the month, which is kind of a cool aspect of this rental arbitrage model too, is that you can actually live in the unit, for let's say 3 days, and then or you can come in vacation in the unit if you don't have any bookings, or if you just want to use a unit, you can not Airbnb at those dates, right? And then let's say over Christmas you want to make back the cost of that apartment, right, which is $1,900, and you want to rent it out. So now you're going to profit $1,000 because again, supply and demand's 101. So that's a overview of doing basic market research. Obviously there's more to it, and I can do a full course. Excuse my notifications, playing fantasy basketball. So that's something that you guys can do for basic research, just to get a general idea of different areas, and seeing what people can charge and what they are charging, and you can kind of do a sneak peek into what people are profiting just by going in and looking at their calendars, and seeing their occupancy and seeing if they have bookings in advance. This guy doesn't have a ton of bookings in advance, but obviously there's ways that you can find, and I'm sure you'd find some. Like this guy is way cheaper than everybody else. I'm not sure why it's so cheap, but someone like this, he's probably pretty full, I would imagine. Well, I guess not in the future, but he's pretty booked out in advance for the 17th. He's got half of his calendar booked out for the end of the month. But again, this is too cheap. But you can kind of see, based on the market, what the market demands and what people are getting. And obviously, this is a great example of someone that is probably doing pretty well on their apartment, and making a bunch of money from it, and possibly also enjoying it when they want to and when they choose not to Airbnb it. So that is a generalized overview. I'm also going to do a next video on doing research on individual apartments and what to look for in terms of a contemporary and modern look, and how to find apartments, and examples of such. So thanks for watching, guys, and tune in. You can check out my channel and see other videos related to Airbnb, how to do house hunting, how to find cleaners, legality of it, etc., etc. So stay tuned, and see you guys soon.